Hi, guys. All right, to give some context for our conversation today, I want to share about the dangers of dihydrogen monoxide. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you will know by the end of this episode. And when you know, you can take steps to make this world a safer place. So, what is dihydrogen monoxide, also known as DHMO, also called hydric acid? It is a chemical compound that is colorless and odorless, but is not iocane powder, yet actually does kill thousands of people each year. Let's look at some side effects. So, accidentally inhaling it can lead to death within minutes. In its gaseous form, it can cause severe burns. Prolonged exposure to it in its solid state can cause severe tissue damage. So, why is this still legal? Well, historically, politicians didn't really consider banning dihydrogen monoxide to be politically beneficial, so they ignore these issues completely. Where is it used? Because it is still legal, it is currently used in nuclear power plants, but also in the production of styrofoam and as an industrial solvent and coolant. Did you know it is often consumed by elite athletes to improve performance? Let's break this down a little bit more, actually. Dihydrogen monoxide has the chemical makeup of dihydrogen, okay, two hydrogen, and monoxide, one oxygen. You may have heard of H2O. Okay, so I'm done with the joke now. Yes, dihydrogen monoxide is H2O, aka water. Let me explain. There was a petition I saw going around as a kid that was actually trying to ban dihydrogen monoxide. And when William came on the podcast, we were chatting and he mentioned the dangers of dihydrogen monoxide. And this ended up sending me on a rabbit hole of remembering that this is hilarious. It is true actually that water is quite dangerous. Accidentally inhaling it is called drowning. Steam will burn you. If you sit in an ice block long enough, you will get severe tissue damage. But it's, of course, much more than just dangerous. Why start from this side of things when I'm talking about how amazing water is? Basically, because it's one of the weirdest substances on our beautiful blue planet. And it wasn't actually until I started watching some marine biology videos that I realized like we've almost stopped seeing water, or maybe I've just stopped seeing water because it's so common, but it's really a strange substance. It's such a strange substance that I've actually heard one scientist hypothesize that it's not from Earth at all. It's some kind of alien, I don't know, it came from somewhere else. Do I believe that? No, I think this planet is filled with wacky and wonderful things. So, anyways, guys, welcome to this series, To Magic in the Ordinary, where we look at the absolutely amazing things in our everyday life. I have links below in case you'd like to do your own research and dive deeper into a topic. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a challenge that will hopefully help you unlock a new habit and level up your life. So, let's talk about water. There are three crazy facts I want to focus on today. Number one, it is lighter in its solid form than its liquid form. And think about how bizarre this is. Like, think about solid things. We have something solid like wood. It's solid because all of its molecules are pressed together. Then you have something like molten liquid silver. It's less dense than solid silver because the molecules are farther apart, and that's what makes them more wobbly or liquid. And I know that that's not scientific language, but you get my point. And then finally, you've got something like helium, which has molecules that are really spread out. So basically, each molecule weighs something, right? So usually in its gas form, something is lighter than in its liquid form, which is lighter than something in its solid packed together form. That makes sense. There's less molecules versus, slightly more versus a ton more, it's going to get heavier the more solid it gets. Now, water is the opposite. Solid water or ice is actually lighter than its liquid form. And this is absolutely wonderful for all of the life on our planet. If ice sank every winter, we would deal with fish extinction in pretty much every freshwater pond. The fish wouldn't have a nice insulator on the top of the water, not to mention they'd get smushed. And you can imagine what kind of problems the ice caps might give us sinking down and displacing all that water. There are probably a lot of other problems that I have not even thought about that we'd have to deal with if water sank. But the good news is it doesn't. So just like magic, it floats to the top. And how is this even possible? So, in completely non scientific terms, it's because water is pretty. In slightly more scientific terms, it's because of the hydrogen molecules and their bond. So water has, like we said, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. And so think of how those all can jumble together and packed in however they want when it's liquid. Now, when water freezes, those hydrogen atoms like to make pretty hexagonal shapes. If you've ever seen a snowflake with its pretty, 6 sides, very long story short, it's because that's the way water likes hexagons. And so when water freezes into ice, it does that nice organized hexagonal shapes. This means there's actually space between the molecules and it ends up lighter in solid form than liquid form. Abracadabra, the fish are safe. Life is more doable on our planet. So that's one crazy thing. Another crazy cool thing about water is that it stays liquid much longer than other compounds. So this helps us maintain temperature. And again, this is thanks to those fantastic hydrogen bonds. So compared with other liquids, it's actually able to stay liquid at a huge range of temperatures. It takes a lot of heat to turn water into steam. And those hydrogen molecules like to stick together for as long as possible and can absorb a lot of heat. So water's ability to absorb heat helps make coastlines temperate. And then it slowly can release the heat that it has absorbed once it gets colder. Again, moderate coastlines, but also when we're really well hydrated, it helps us regulate our body temperature as well. So water is oddly heavier as a liquid than when it's a solid, and it can help regulate temperature, and it's good at staying a liquid. And number 3, it has really cool surface tension. According to Penn State's College of Minerals and Sciences, next to mercury, water has the highest surface tension of all commonly occurring liquids, end quote. So the highest surface tension of all commonly occurring liquids. So that's also because of the hydrogen bond we talked about earlier. Molecules like to stick together. You may have seen in like zero gravity, water will turn into a perfect ball. It likes to clump together rather than splaying out. And even on our planet with gravity, we actually still see this, and it's incredibly helpful. So that surface tension means that water bugs can hop across the surface of the water without falling through. It also means that dew doesn't drown all the little critters in the earth, but it actually gives them a nice place to go get a drink. It means that rain falls in cute little drops, and it even helps plants stay upright. You've all seen plants when they don't have enough water and they get kind of mushy and droopy, the way our cells would be if water didn't have surface tension. So to quote a Penn State again, quote, "Without this property, water would be a slimy coating and cells would not have shape." Have you guys ever seen Train to Busan, where that lady, she throws water on the window and then she puts paper against it and it actually sticks? And then all the windows get covered up so zombies can't see them and stuff like that. That only works because of water's surface tension. So surface tension is good for your cells and can save you from zombies. I feel as if I've never fully appreciated just the amazingness of the surface tension of water, but I fully intend to celebrate it from here on out. So water is a very unique chemical compound. We've talked about how it can be dangerous at the beginning of the episode, but also then we talked about why it can be insanely cool. So now I want to talk about just some ways it can benefit us. And basically, if it's not killing us, it's making our lives significantly better in pretty much every way you can imagine. So how does water help us? I'm actually going to read from a list that I found from Western Kentucky University. And I will definitely have a link to them below. So one, obviously, it helps regulate temperature, just like we talked about. It helps your skin stay nice and plump, aka not wrinkly. And after what we just learned about water tension and it helping our cells stay firm and trees upright, this makes even more sense to me. It lubricates joints and muscles and helps cushion everything, helps flush out our kidneys. In addition to helping our cells stay shapely, it also helps them stay clean and flushed out as well. And it's really important for our brains. Let me read what the university says. Quote, adequate hydration is adequate hydration is important for proper function of the brain. When we are hydrated, brain cells are better supplied with fresh oxygen-laden blood, and the brain remains alert. Mild dehydration, a 1% to 2% loss in body weight, can impair the ability to concentrate. Loss of more than 2% body weight due to dehydration can affect the brain's processing abilities and impair short-term memory. In addition to all of that, The Spine and Brain Institute of San Diego talks about how we need water to keep our spine healthy. The discs between your vertebrae are 75% water. As you sleep, your discs rehydrate and you wake up in the morning at your normal height. During the day, the spinal discs slowly release water, creating more compression in the spine as the discs dry up. I had no idea that my bony spine involves so much water. Yeah, I felt like I didn't realize that, but that's amazing. And so it's yet another reason to stay well hydrated. So water keeps you healthy, which brings us to today's challenge, which is drink water. But I have three different challenges for you to choose from, or if you'd like to participate. Level 1 is drink 8 cups a day. This is a really common rule of thumb that Mayo Clinic says can work for, on average, for most people. Some people need a little less or a little more, but it's really easy to remember and it works for most people. So that's great. But if you're ready for something a little harder, let's go on to level 2, which is the Mayo Clinic challenge. And this is drink about 15.5 cups of fluids a day for men, or that's 3.7 liters, or about 11.5 cups of fluids a day for women, which is about 2.7 liters. They got this data from the US National Academy of Sciences and Engineering and Medicine. And I appreciate that they include women in that study, because every time I do research, it just reminds me we need to get a wide demographic in order for this to be accurate for everyone. So if you're looking for something a bit more tailored and science-backed, this approach to water is probably for you. And level 3 is that challenge is what I like to call the insanity challenge, which is drink a gallon a day. And this is a huge trend right now among movie stars. Gal Gadot drank a gallon a day while she was preparing for her role as Wonder Woman. And I know a lot of athletes who do that because they're constantly sweating. For most people, it doesn't seem like it's actually necessary. But also, according to the Cleveland Clinic of Healthcare Essentials, it won't hurt most people. So I would say if you're going to go for this level, make sure that you're listening to your body and kind of try to gauge how you feel. Because you don't want to do too much. You can, in fact, drink too much water. Okay, one more bonus fact before you go, though. According to thoughtco.com, so not like a crazy scientific place, but water may have memory or hold trace imprints of particles that were previously in it. And since this hasn't been officially proven, I didn't want to make it an official point, but there is emerging data that has led some people to make this hypothesis. So I'm really curious what people are going to find when they study this more. Sometimes people, like, if something has been in the water will act like it's still in sometimes, which is cool. So I'm excited to hear how, if people study that more, what we'll find out. But water is weird, wild, and wonderful. Also, this episode was partly inspired by William when he came on the show behind the scenes and started making jokes about dihydrogen monoxide. So thanks, William, for the inspiration. Anyways, you guys, drink up, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.